Let me tell you something straight from the jump. If you can see it in your mind, if it keeps tapping you on the shoulder when the world is quiet, if it shows up in your thoughts when you're tired, frustrated, or broke, then it's not random. That vision didn't come to tease you. It came to claim you, and the problem isn't that you don't have a vision. The problem is you've been carrying it in your head instead of putting it where it belongs, on paper, in action, and into the world. See, life has a way of distracting you. Bills come, people doubt you, circumstances don't line up, and if your vision isn't written, life will slowly erase it. What you don't write, you will forget. What you don't define, you will drift away from. And what you don't commit to, you will abandon when it gets hard. Writing your vision is more than words on paper. It's you making a declaration. It's you saying, "This is where I'm going, whether anybody believes in me or not." When you write it, you give it structure. You give it direction. You give it power, because now it's not just a thought. It's a plan waiting on discipline. Let me explain something. Clarity attracts opportunity. When you're clear about what you want, life starts responding differently. People come out of nowhere. Doors open you didn't knock on. Ideas connect in ways you couldn't plan. But confusion blocks blessings. If you don't know where you're going, how can anything help you get there? Some of you are asking for change, but you haven't defined what change looks like. You're praying for success, but you haven't described it. You're hoping for a better life, but you haven't written down what better means. Hope without clarity turns into frustration. Faith without action turns into disappointment. Writing your vision also exposes your excuses. Once it's written, you can't lie to yourself anymore. You can see the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And yes, that gap can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is not your enemy. Comfort is. Comfort keeps you stuck. Discomfort forces growth. Let me be real with you. Your vision will scare you. If it doesn't, it's too small. A real vision stretches you. It asks more of you than you're currently giving. It demands discipline when motivation runs out. It requires sacrifice when others are relaxing. And it will isolate you at times, because not everyone is meant to understand where you're going. Stop expecting support from people who don't share your assignment. Everybody can't go where you're headed. Some people are seasonal. Some people are lessons. Some people are distractions. Writing your vision helps you identify who belongs in your future and who only belonged in your past. And listen, delay does not mean denial. Just because it's taking longer doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes the delay is working on you. You're being prepared for the weight of what you asked for. Because blessings without maturity can destroy you. Writing your vision keeps you patient during the process. It reminds you why you started when quitting feels easier. You have to revisit your vision daily. Read it when you wake up. Read it when you're tired. Read it when nothing seems to be working. Let it talk back to you. Let it correct you. Let it refocus you. Because the world will constantly try to rewrite your story for you, based on fear, opinions, and limitations that were never yours to carry. Understand this: no one owes you belief. Belief is your responsibility. No one owes you validation. Validation comes from progress. And no one owes you success. Success is rented, and rent is due every single day in the form of effort, consistency, and faith. Your background does not disqualify your vision. Your past mistakes do not cancel your future. Where you started does not determine where you finish. The only thing that can stop your vision is your refusal to commit to it when it gets uncomfortable. So here's the truth you need to hear today. Stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop shrinking your dreams to fit other people's comfort zones. Get a pen, get a notebook, get alone, and write the life you say you want. Write it clearly, write it boldly, write it like it's possible, because it is. Then stand up and start walking toward it, one disciplined step at a time. No more excuses, no more delays. No more talking yourself out of what was placed inside you on purpose. Write your vision today, and then get up and go live like you believe every word of it. A vision that exists only in your mind is fragile, because the mind is constantly under attack from doubt, fear, distractions, and daily pressure. Every problem you face has the power to slowly rewrite what you once believed was possible. When you don't write your vision down, life edits it for you. One bad experience shrinks it. One failure questions it. One negative opinion weakens it. Writing your vision is how you protect it from being stolen by circumstances. It is the act of taking something invisible and giving it form, weight, and authority. Once it is written, it stops being a passing thought and becomes a fixed destination. You are no longer guessing where you're going. You've defined it. Writing your vision forces honesty. You can't hide behind vague hopes like "I just want to be successful" or "I just want a better life." Writing demands detail. It asks you to clarify what success actually looks like, how your life should feel, what you want to build, and who you want to become. Clarity removes confusion, and confusion is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. When your vision is written, you stop drifting. You stop waking up reacting to life instead of directing it. You begin making decisions based on where you're going, not just how you feel in the moment. A written vision also becomes a reference point when motivation disappears. Motivation is emotional, and emotions change. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you'll feel defeated. If your vision lives only in your head, it fades on hard days. But when it's written, you can return to it. You can read it when you're tired. You can read it when nothing is working. You can read it when quitting sounds reasonable. The written vision speaks back to you. It reminds you why you started and what you committed to before fear tried to talk you out of it. Writing your vision creates accountability. Once it's on paper, excuses are exposed. You can no longer pretend you don't know what to do next. You can see the gap between your current habits and your future goals. That gap may feel uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Comfort keeps you average. Accountability pushes you forward. A written vision doesn't allow you to lie to yourself about effort, discipline, or consistency. It shows you clearly whether your actions are aligned with your destination. When you write your vision, you also train your focus. Focus is power. What you focus on grows, and what you ignore fades. A written vision keeps your attention on progress instead of problems. It helps you say no to distractions that look good but lead nowhere. It sharpens your priorities and protects your energy. Instead of chasing everything, you start building something specific. Writing your vision is not just about dreaming. It's about choosing a direction and refusing to let life pull you away from it. A written vision turns belief into intention. It is the moment you stop hoping things will change and start deciding they must. It transforms desire into commitment and intention into action. When you write it down, you're telling yourself that this matters, that this is worth the effort, and that you are no longer leaving your future up to chance. Clarity is the moment confusion loses its power over your life. When you clearly define what you want, you stop wandering mentally and emotionally. Many people feel stuck not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack definition. Their desires are vague, their goals are blurry, and their direction is uncertain. When nothing is clearly defined, everything feels overwhelming. Clarity simplifies life. It narrows your focus and gives your energy somewhere specific to go instead of being scattered across endless possibilities. When your vision becomes clear, your mind starts working differently. You begin to recognize opportunities that were always around you but never visible before. Opportunities don't always appear as miracles. They often show up as ideas, conversations, or uncomfortable chances that require courage. Without clarity, those moments pass by unnoticed. With clarity, you see them as answers. You start connecting dots between people, information, and experiences because your mind is now trained to look for alignment instead of randomness. Clarity also changes how others respond to you. People are naturally drawn to certainty. When you speak with clarity about what you're building and where you're going, the right people begin to take you seriously. Mentors show up because they know how to guide you. Collaborators appear because they understand your direction. Support comes not because you asked for it, but because clarity makes your path visible. Confusion repels help, but clarity invites it. Defining what you want also filters your decisions. Every day, you are faced with choices: how to spend your time, who to listen to, what to pursue, and what to ignore. Without clarity, you say yes to too much and end up exhausted with little progress. With clarity, decision-making becomes easier. You measure every option against your vision. If it doesn't move you forward, it doesn't deserve your energy. Clarity protects you from distractions disguised as opportunities. Clarity exposes the difference between activity and progress. Being busy feels productive, but busyness without direction leads nowhere. When your vision is clear, you can tell whether your actions are truly moving you closer to your goals or simply keeping you occupied. You stop celebrating effort alone and start valuing results. This awareness pushes you to refine your strategies instead of repeating habits that don't work. Clarity also strengthens faith during uncertainty. When challenges arise, a clear vision keeps you grounded. You may not know how everything will unfold, but you know why you're moving forward. That why becomes an anchor. It steadies you when outcomes are unpredictable and timelines stretch longer than expected. A clear vision doesn't remove obstacles, but it gives obstacles context, making them part of the journey instead of reasons to quit. When clarity is present, you stop blaming circumstances and start taking responsibility. You understand that progress requires alignment between vision, action, and belief. You become more intentional with your time, your words, and your habits. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you start moving with purpose. Clarity turns uncertainty into direction and direction into momentum, allowing opportunities to meet you at the level of your preparation. Writing your vision forces you to confront yourself in a way that thinking never will. Thoughts can stay comfortable, flexible, and non-committal, but once your vision is written down, it becomes specific and undeniable. You can see exactly where you want to go, and that clarity immediately reveals the distance between your current reality and your desired future. That distance is where excuses usually live. Writing exposes them. You can no longer blame confusion, lack of direction, or uncertainty, because the destination is now clearly defined. Excuses often sound reasonable when they remain unchallenged. You tell yourself you don't have enough time, resources, support, or confidence. But when your vision is written, those excuses start to look like what they really are: barriers you've accepted instead of obstacles you can work through. Writing your vision removes the illusion that something external is stopping you. It highlights the habits, choices, and patterns that are misaligned with what you say you want. This awareness can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is the price of growth. The moment you see the gap between where you are and where you want to be, responsibility shifts. You realize that wishing is not enough, hoping is not enough, motivation is not enough. Growth requires discipline, and discipline begins with honesty. Writing your vision makes it clear that progress demands consistent action, not occasional effort. It shows you that talent without structure leads nowhere, and that potential without execution remains unused. This process also forces you to examine how you spend your time. Time is your most valuable resource. Yet it is often wasted on distractions that offer comfort but no advancement. When your vision is written, you start measuring your daily actions against it. You notice how much energy goes into habits that don't serve your future. You become aware of conversations that drain you, routines that keep you stagnant, and behaviors that delay progress. That awareness challenges you to change, because staying the same becomes harder to justify. Writing your vision demands personal growth because it highlights who you must become to reach it. The vision you write often belongs to a future version of you, not the current one. That means your mindset, discipline, confidence, and skills must evolve. Excuses crumble when you realize that growth is required, not optional. You begin to understand that the journey is not just about achieving something, but about transforming into someone capable of sustaining it. This accountability also changes how you respond to setbacks. Instead of using failure as proof that you're not capable, you start seeing it as feedback. Writing your vision reframes failure as part of the process rather than a reason to quit. When excuses are exposed, resilience takes their place. You stop asking why things are hard and start asking what needs to be adjusted. You shift from emotional reactions to strategic thinking. As excuses lose their power, self-respect begins to grow. You start honoring the commitments you make to yourself. Each small act of discipline builds confidence, not because things are easy, but because you are doing what you said you would do. Writing your vision is not just about setting goals. It is about holding yourself accountable to the life you claim you want and refusing to let comfort, fear, or delay control your progress. A true vision will never feel safe or convenient, because it is designed to pull you beyond the limits of who you currently are. If your vision does not challenge you, it cannot change you. The moment you write it down and truly accept it, fear shows up, not because you are incapable, but because you are standing at the edge of growth. That fear is evidence that the vision is real. Safe goals don't demand transformation, but meaningful visions require you to stretch mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. As your vision begins to stretch you, it also begins to separate you. Not everyone will understand what you are trying to build, and many people will question your decisions because they can't see what you see. When you stop explaining yourself and start executing your vision, some relationships naturally shift. This is not rejection, it is alignment. Growth often requires distance from familiar voices that reinforce comfort instead of purpose. Isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. A stretching vision demands sacrifice. You will have to give up time, routines, and even approval. While others are resting, you may be working. While others are celebrating small comfort, you may be investing in long-term progress. These choices can feel lonely, especially when the results are not immediate. But the absence of support does not mean the absence of purpose. It means your path is uncommon, and uncommon paths are rarely crowded. Isolation also reveals who truly belongs in your journey. When you commit to your vision, some people fall away because they were connected to who you were, not who you are becoming. Writing your vision makes this clear. It helps you recognize which relationships are distractions and which are destinations. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay, and not everyone who leaves is an enemy. Some people exit your life simply because their assignment is complete. A vision that stretches you also forces you to confront self-doubt. When you aim higher than your current experience, your mind will question your worth, ability, and readiness. These doubts are not signs to stop. They are invitations to grow stronger. Stretching builds capacity. Each step outside your comfort zone strengthens your confidence and expands what you believe is possible. The version of you that achieves the vision is shaped by the challenges you face along the way. Isolation during growth is also where clarity deepens. Without constant noise, opinions, and distractions, You begin to hear your own direction more clearly. Solitude sharpens focus. It allows you to reflect, refine your plans, and strengthen your commitment. Many breakthroughs are born in quiet moments where no one is watching, applauding, or approving. The silence becomes a space for preparation rather than emptiness. A stretching vision also teaches emotional discipline. You learn not to depend on applause to keep moving. You learn how to stay consistent without recognition. You understand that validation is not a requirement for progress. The discipline to keep going without external encouragement becomes one of your greatest strengths. Isolation trains you to trust your vision, even when it feels like you're walking alone. In time, the very isolation that once felt uncomfortable becomes empowering. You realize that separation was necessary for focus, growth, and alignment. The stretch builds resilience, the solitude builds strength, and the sacrifice builds character, shaping you into someone capable of carrying the weight of the vision you committed to. Writing delay has a way of making people question everything they once felt certain about. When results don't show up on schedule, doubt starts whispering that maybe the vision was wrong, maybe the timing was off, or maybe you are not qualified. But delay is not evidence of failure. It is often evidence of preparation happening beneath the surface. What looks like waiting is usually shaping. Growth does not always announce itself, and progress does not always move in ways you can see. During delay, character is being developed, patience is being trained, discipline is being tested. If everything arrived immediately, there would be no strength built to sustain it. Many people are ready for the reward, but not ready for the responsibility that comes with it. Delay works on the internal foundation, so that when the vision begins to materialize, it doesn't collapse under pressure. What you are becoming matters just as much as what you are achieving. Delay also forces reflection. When progress slows, you are given time to examine your habits, motives, and strategies. This is where refinement happens. You learn what needs to be adjusted, what must be released, and what deserves more commitment. Without delay, growth would be shallow. Waiting stretches your endurance and teaches you how to stay consistent without immediate feedback. That consistency becomes a skill you carry forward. In periods of delay, faith is strengthened. When outcomes are uncertain, you must rely on belief rather than evidence. This challenges you to trust the vision you wrote when enthusiasm was high, even when emotions are low. Delay tests whether you truly believe in the direction you chose, or if you were only committed to the excitement of starting. Staying faithful during delay builds mental resilience and emotional stability. Delay also teaches timing. Everything is not meant to happen all at once. Certain doors open only when you are prepared to walk through them. Rushing ahead can lead to burnout, poor decisions, or missed lessons. Delay creates space for alignment between opportunity and readiness. It ensures that when momentum finally arrives, you can handle it with wisdom rather than panic. Another purpose of delay is protection. Sometimes what you want is ahead of your maturity. If it arrived too early, it could damage your confidence, relationships, or sense of direction. Delay guards you from success that could overwhelm you. It allows you to grow into the version of yourself capable of managing expansion, influence, and responsibility. Delay also separates those who are committed from those who are curious. When progress is slow, many people quit. They interpret delay as rejection rather than development. Those who continue despite the wait build an unshakable work ethic. They learn to show up without applause, to keep moving without certainty, and to trust the process without guarantees. That discipline becomes a defining trait. The waiting period also strengthens your connection to your vision. When results are absent, you are forced to revisit why you started. You reconnect with purpose instead of outcomes. This deepens your commitment and purifies your intention. You stop chasing quick validation and start focusing on long-term impact. Delay strips away superficial motivation and replaces it with grounded determination. Through delay, perspective changes. You begin to see challenges as part of preparation rather than obstacles to progress. The waiting season becomes a classroom, not a prison. Every lesson learned during delay contributes to future stability, wisdom, and strength, ensuring that when movement finally comes, you are not just ready to receive it, but ready to sustain it. Belief is not something that can be borrowed, rented, or outsourced to anyone else. It is a personal responsibility that begins the moment you decide to take your vision seriously. No one else can believe for you, and no amount of encouragement can replace self-trust. When you write your vision, you are making a private agreement with yourself that does not require permission, approval, or applause. That agreement becomes the foundation for everything that follows, because without belief, action has no direction and effort has no meaning. Action is the physical expression of belief. If belief stays internal, it remains incomplete. True belief moves your hands, shapes your habits, and shows up in your daily choices. Writing your vision is the first step, but the real work begins when you start acting in alignment with what you wrote. Every small action either supports your vision or contradicts it. Consistency turns belief into momentum, and momentum turns intention into progress. Responsibility means owning the outcome, regardless of circumstances. When things go well, responsibility keeps you grounded. When things go wrong, responsibility keeps you moving. Blaming conditions, people, or timing weakens belief and stalls action. Taking responsibility strengthens discipline and sharpens focus. It reminds you that while you may not control everything that happens, you do control how you respond and how persistently you pursue what you want. Discipline is the bridge between belief and results. Motivation will fade, but discipline keeps you aligned with your vision even when emotions shift. Responsibility means showing up on days when confidence is low and progress feels invisible. It means honoring your commitments even when no one is watching. Discipline transforms belief from a feeling into a habit, and habits create outcomes over time. Belief also requires courage. Acting on your vision means risking failure, criticism, and uncertainty. Responsibility means accepting those risks without retreating. It means understanding that mistakes are part of the process, not proof of incapability. Each action you take, even when imperfect, strengthens belief by proving to yourself that you are willing to try, adjust, and continue. Validation is often mistaken for progress. Many people wait for recognition before taking action, but responsibility demands movement without external approval. Belief that depends on praise is fragile. Self-driven belief is stable. When you take responsibility for your actions, you stop needing constant reassurance. Progress itself becomes the reward, and growth becomes the confirmation. Responsibility also requires patience. Results do not always reflect effort immediately. Action may feel repetitive and unrewarding at times. Belief during these moments is tested. Responsibility means continuing anyway, trusting that consistent effort compounds even when evidence is not visible. This patience builds resilience and emotional strength. Over time, belief and action reinforce each other. Each step forward strengthens confidence, and increased confidence fuels further action. Responsibility creates a cycle of growth that does not rely on outside conditions. You become self-directed, focused, and grounded in your purpose. Belief stops being a concept and becomes a way of operating, shaping how you think, decide, and act in alignment with the vision you chose to write and pursue.